Thank you so much for tuning in. So, today we're going to talk about what I like to call conditional listening. I think a lot of us do it, we've all experienced it. And so, let's start off with what is conditional listening. Conditional listening, most of us just speak money and status, whether we want to look at it that way or not. We really do. And so, a prime example of that is, just because someone has a lot of money or just because someone has a high status in our perception, automatically what they say holds more value. And that's not actually always the case, because then if that is, that would make vice versa true. That if somebody doesn't have a lot of money or they don't have a lot of status, that they obviously can't speak on value. And although the sound of that sounds clearly untrue, it's not a conscious thing. That's really what we need to be aware of. This is all subconscious, Nobody goes around saying to someone, well, hey, you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a high status, so I'm not going to, what you say to me is not going to have that much value. We don't consciously think these things, but subconsciously it's a very existent perception that we have. It's conditional listening, Prime example, anybody who's on the plant-based liberty or who's just in a healthy lifestyle and has tried or attempted to get family or friends on that perspective, once you go too far away from the norm, then people start to perceive you as being in your own lane, because you are, in your own realm, in your own box. And prime example, you could tell your mom or your friend and be like, hey, cucumbers help you lose weight. And they'll be like, okay, cool. But then somebody who's watching the same television show as them, eating the same food as them, talking the same vocabulary as them, says, hey, you know what? I found out that cucumbers can make you lose weight. Ain't that something? Wow. And then all of a sudden it has a different ring to it. So what I want to make us all aware of, including myself, is, conditional listening is a real thing. And the more unconditional you are with how you receive your truth and your wisdom, the better off you're going to be. You could learn from the butterfly, you could learn from the animals, you can learn from the homeless so-called crazy man mumbling to himself down the street. That he might give you the wisdom of the day. You know what I mean? So let's work on that, and let's be more mindful that you can learn from children, you can learn from old people, you can learn. One thing that's ironic is that equality can be imbalanced, and sometimes, at times people who are ignorant can see everyone else as their equal. And there's a truth to that. We all do have an equal value as people. But what we've been through, the knowledge that we have, the wisdom we've accumulated is not always equal. And so a lot of the times people think to themselves, well, if I don't know that, you couldn't know that. If I couldn't do that, you possibly couldn't do that either. And so a lot of the times you can try to put someone onto something, or you can try to raise somebody's awareness, but they're thinking like, well, if I don't know that, you're just trying to show off, and you don't really know that either. You're just trying to do a show and tell and be like, surprise, look what I know. And that's not always the case. So if you're one of those people, or if you've been around one of those people, just remember that we are at different levels. And if you deem someone as ignorant, if you deem someone as wise, these are all still categories that easily can be broken. We are limitless. We are everything and nothing in one. And so just realize that anybody has something to teach you. The ignorant, the wise, the smart, deaf, dumb, and blind. Everyone has something to share. Everyone has value. Everyone has something to teach. So when it comes to conditional listening, one thing to remember is that it doesn't matter who it is or what it is. You can learn lessons from anything. Literally anything. So figured I would just keep it short and let you guys in on the conditional listening, something that I've recently become aware of, and seen how even in my life, when I first started becoming plant-based and raising my spiritual awareness and becoming awakened spiritually, I went through a phase where I was very conditional. I would be talking with elders, or I would, just speak with anyone. And if I found out that they were not, eating the same way as I am, or they don't consider themselves spiritual, and then all of a sudden they went in one ear and out the other. And I'm just like, oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. And that was very wrong of me. And so I'm just vulnerably putting that out there because I had to learn my tough lessons that way. I had to have someone who eats a complete opposite diet than me be like, hey, you're not supposed to do that, or and they were completely right, about something. Sometimes we got to just have these lessons, and life doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes we just choose to learn hard lessons, kind of like a video game. You're not always going to be on level 1 all the time. You could choose to keep it easy, but at times we enjoy the complexity, because we're asking for that in some way, shape, or form. We are asking for the complexity, and once we realize that an easy or a simple life is more suitable, then we're going to keep learning through complex lessons. And it's not for anyone to judge. It's all of purpose. It's all of presence. It's all here. And the fact that we go through different lessons through divine communication, we can exchange with each other, and we don't always have to face the same hardships that another has faced simply for that reason of exchange. There's plenty of times where I asked friends for advice, and I'm like, yo, like, do you know about this? And like, yeah, man, like, let me save you some time. I had to go around the world in 80 days when I found out, boom, this is the shortcut. Simple things like that. So don't always be so cooped up and like to yourself about things, because like we are a big collective. Everyone's here. Everybody has something to exchange. Everyone has value. And it's really the key is just seeing that everybody does have value. And when you can see things through that lens of everyone having value, you'll realize that it makes no sense to just think that we're all on our own. Ultimately, it is everyone for themselves, but we have people here with us. So don't neglect that. Just realize that, you can call on friends, you can manifest friends, you can manifest family if you don't already have it, and just be grateful for what you have. Not everyone's going to be on the same level as you, but ultimately, yes, we are on different paths, but we're all going to the same place. We're all leading to the same place. And in perspective, which is death. Death is transformation. We all came here to transform. We all came here to learn lessons. Not all of us came here for the same purpose, but at the end of the day, we all have to leave this place. So that's what I mean by all the paths lead to the same place. Death doesn't have to be a dark thing. Death doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's an inevitable thing that we all have to face. We see it from a young age to an old age. People we know, people we don't know, but it just is what it is. So just remember grace. Remember, solitude is important, but we do have people here. We are in this age of Aquarius. It is about humanity. It is about the collective. It is about people. Everybody's got something to do. Everyone's got something to achieve, and just be there for one another, and just let one another shine without feeling like you didn't do something. That's a very I'm not gonna say toxic. I feel like we got to be very mindful of using that word. I feel like we've overly exalted certain words where people just want to say it just because it sounds good, and that's conditional listening too. It's like, ooh, you said a word that I resonate with because I'm in this phase of my life. So what you're saying must be true. It's not. It's not always true. Some people just like using fancy words. Yeah. So we're all here. We're all out here. Peace and blessings. Much love. Tino Soul.